Hi everybody, Dave Bontempo for the Boxing Channel. Always delighted to be here with Bernard the Executioner Hopkins, the oldest man ever to capture a championship, which you did earlier this year. Bernard, how has the luster been from that fight? And we understand you're fighting again in July. Tell us about what's going on with you.
Yes, July 13th, I'm committed to a mandatory that I will fulfill the rules, which was agreed upon prior to fighting Travis Cloud. It was his mandatory, but I inherited when I made history again by beating him on March 9th at the Barclays Center. So I will defend the title, and then I can't mention it right now, but Richard just reinformed that he's working on something big, big name, and you'll see me in one of those big blockbuster fights. I haven't had one since I fought Oscar De La Hoya. When I say big blockbuster fights, a big name versus a big name.
Now, we've seen you break down and destroy guys, and we saw it in your last fight, too. The look of discouragement that comes over your opponent's faces when all of a sudden, it's almost like with quick right hands and right hand leads, you break them down. What is it about the younger guys that you pick up and the smarts that you use on them?
It's the hypnosis that they go under when they get in the ring with Bernard Hopkins, and you know, it's the IQ and all the education and all of the training and breaking a guy down mentally, physically, and also skill-wise. So when you put all those things together, in those 2-3 decades I've been fighting, a young guy cannot match that, no matter how talented, no matter if he have an O or 1 on his record. It really doesn't matter. I mean, some are more feisty than others, but at the end of the day, I will get them. And I will get them based on skill. Everything else falls in order because of my longevity in the sport and my IQ. The IQ cannot match time because they haven't had a lot of time in the game like myself. So I'm going to have fun schooling the youngsters with the ABCs.
And nobody cuts off the ring, of course, like you. Now, what about this fight tomorrow night with Matthysse and Peterson?
Nice.
How do you size that up?
I size that up as one of those fights where I pick them because, you know, they want to continue to win for big paydays and also big matches, which will bring big paydays. So I see this fight really dead even. I mean, we have both guys. And so when I say we, the Golden Boy, but when they fight, they know that one go up in level and one stays where they at, and not necessarily, depending on how the fight ends, go completely down. But one thing about these fights here, these fights can take years or other fights in the future from both of these fighters. I look at this fight as being one of those fights, man, where it have a potential, a very strong potential as being up there, one of the fight of the year, and the year has just begun. So this is a real competitive fight, matchups from top to bottom.
Let's talk about one mindset here for Matthysse, which matches what's happened to you a lot in your career, the close fights, the tough calls on scorecards. Now, Matthysse has had 2 very tough outings here in the United States with Judah and with Alexander. Yeah. Should have won at least one of those fights.
I thought he won the Alexander fight.
Right.
To be honest with you.
What about his mindset coming in here with that? How does that change his style, do you think? Does he come out far more aggressive, and how does he control that aggression?
Well, first, I think he will come in there with aggression because, look, he's coming in another foreign land, and he haven't had a good report from the outcome when it went the distance. So I'm looking at him coming in with a gun with 1 bullet saying, hey, I got to make sure I fire, and I fire to win. So when you fight a guy like that, knowing that he's been through two what he believes is disappointing verdicts, I believe he's going to come in guns blazing, letting it all out, and that's what's going to make a good fight, because it's going to be a tug of war between both guys who want to keep their position and who want to move up in position. And so I look at this thing, Ben, and he knows he has to win this fight because 3 out, and to get 3 controversy losses, you lose, but one of those fights where you're going to leave it up to the judges' hands, which he haven't won any of those 2 matches in the judges' hands. I think he's going to come out guns blazing. You're absolutely right. I think he will.
Bernard Hopkins, a treasure trove of boxing information. Thank you for joining us, and we're going to continue to monitor you.
Always, Gary Papa, but the old man will keep on representing the 40 and up club. Pitch a cane down, pitch a walker down, take the tennis balls off the walker, pitch your teeth in, and let's go.
You even gave me a new name. With Bernard Hopkins for the Boxing Channel in Atlantic City, this is Dave Bontempo.